With a new ship and another member on board, the Straw Hats would set sail towards Jaya. There, they'd briefly run into Blackbeard's crew, but nothing would come of it. Then they'd visit Mont Blanc Cricket's residence. Hearing about how dangerous the knock-up stream is, Crocus would inform Luffy that there's no need to take any risks, since he knows of an alternative method to get to Skypiea that lies somewhere in the New World. However, Luffy being Luffy, he would completely ignore his warnings and decide to go with his original plan. Once there, some Skypians might even recognize Crocus, since he was once there already with the Roger Pirates. This would help the crew gain their trust much faster and make their overall adventure on Skypiea much easier. Same as in the original, Luffy would be the one to defeat Enel while the rest of the crewmates would run for their lives. After ending the 400-year-old Sky Wars, the Straw Hats would ride a balloon back down to the Blue Sea. Even though they changed ships recently, using the knock-up stream would almost completely destroy their new ship too, so they would have to look for a replacement soon. With all of that commotion behind them, the crew's next destination is Water 7. On the way there, the Straw Hats would meet Granny Kokoro and Chimney, and I can easily see Kokoro taking an interest in Crocus, which would make him really uncomfortable. Anyways, setting foot on the island, the crew would split up yet again, with Luffy, Ace, Sabo, Nami, and Zeph heading for the dockyard and the rest going out to shop instead. In this version of the story, they wouldn't wind up losing all of their money, as Frankie's family wouldn't succeed in stealing it. After commissioning the Galila workers to build them a new ship, the Straw Hats would spend a few days waiting for the construction to finish. While they are waiting, Robin would still vanish and work behind the scenes with CP9, same as she did in the original. Unfortunately for the Straw Hats, work on the ship would suddenly stop once the news spreads about Iceberg's failed assassination. With half the crew staying back at the hotel, the other half would infiltrate Iceberg's residence, only to find CP9 there. Even though Luffy would have Ace and Sabo on his side for this fight, the Straw Hats would still lose to Lucci and Blue Nose Rokushiki techniques. The important thing to remember here is that neither Ace nor Sabo have their Devil Fruit abilities this time around, so they unfortunately wouldn't be able to make any difference in this fight. After protecting Iceberg and saving him from a burning building, the Straw Hats would regroup in order to prepare and bring Robin back. Meanwhile, Iceberg would take the time to fix up Rocket Man. The Frankie family would suddenly show up at the secret station and beg the Straw Hats to take them along in order to save their leader. Things would inevitably lead up to the events of Ennius Lobby. Everything would mostly play out the same way, the only difference being that Frankie's family would save the Straw Hats at the end instead of going merry. Everyone would then safely return to the city and start celebrating their victory. Things would be peaceful for a couple of days, until Garp suddenly makes an appearance and punches Ace through a wall. And then with Luffy in his grasp, the older Straw Hats would lose it once they realize Garp is his grandfather. The surprises wouldn't end there, because they would also find out about Luffy's father. With a smile, Kureha would feel confident that she made the right choice by following this kid, as there is something really special about him and his family. The next day, Frankie would reveal Thousand Sunny to the Straw Hats, and they would be absolutely impressed by it. Now, we all know that during this arc, Luffy officially asked Frankie to join the crew. But do you remember another person he asked? That's right, Iceberg. So in this version of the story, both brothers would be joining the crew. Iceberg would immediately